What's up, y'all? Bill C 2020. We're getting to this mix of James Lugo's On and On. What you're looking at here is up top, we got the video channel. It's playing the video. This is the audio to the video. And these are the elements. This is the opening synth, the drums in green, the bass in red, acoustics turquoise, guitars in blue, more synths in brown, vocals in yellow. So this setup vertically is the same setup here horizontally. Let's take a listen to the original.
Seemed like your world had come undone, just like my broken heart. I know you're scared and reeling, but I am torn apart. Feel my pain on and on, on and on. All I can say, it's not the same without you here. A falling tear runs on my face. 2 weeks have passed since you were here. Inhaled your final breath. I'm lost and feeling empty. It's been a year of death. Feel my pain on and on, on and on. All I could say, it's not the same without you here. A falling tear lands on my face. Feel my pain goes on and on, on and on. All I can say, it's not the same without you here. A falling tear lands on my face, lands on my face. Everywhere I look to, I see memories of you in my son's gleaming face. Your spirit lives on and on and on. Feel my pain on and on, on and on. All I can say, it's not the same without you here. A falling tear lands on my face. Feel my pain goes on and on, on and on. All I can say, it's not the same without you here. A falling tear lands on my face, lands on my face.
Alright, love that song. I wanted to do my version of it. As you can see, there are quite a few elements here, and the song can be built in several different ways. We're going to check that out right now. So the first thing I did here is I put the BPM counter on the song to come up with 94, which that's how you get your 94 that you put up here. I need that for my delays. When you use something like Echo Boy that deals with notes and will lock to the timing of the track, you want to find out what the BPM is ahead of time. So even if it's not on, like even if it's not recorded to a click, you'll be close to begin with, and then you can tweak it if you need to after the fact. So we got our BPM of 94. I like to build songs in order of importance, such as what I think is going to lead the song, and then what's next important, and then finally down to what's least important is ear candy. I had a good discussion with James in the first episode of this series where he explained how he built the song. I like to listen to different elements and decide, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so in the red here, we have 3 different bass tracks. We have the DI, or the direct input, on this channel. We have an amp on this channel. And we have distortion on this channel. So using these 3, you can make a blend that you feel works for the song, or you can make different sounds for different parts of the song, like the chorus, the verse, whatever. So let's say I like the fuzzy sound like that. That might be good by itself, but I might not like it once I add in the other elements of the song, which is the whole point of this beginning exercise, is to find out what's there and find out how you want things to work with each other. So here we have a clean guitar, another DI, direct input. I could put an amp simulator on that, but we have several versions of guitar that we can listen to and select. This is good to have though as a backup, but it's also good just in case you have guitars that are really fuzzy and you want something to cut through and give your guitars a percussive sound. So you might have guitars that just zzz, and it's not really moving. You can bring in the clean sound to have the actual strums come through and blend with the fuzz and give the guitars more action. That's kind of what I was talking about. When you have the stereo guitars playing, they kind of stay zing, 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 which is fine. But if you want to have more articulation, then you can add in the clean. And again, that's something you can automate in the verse and the chorus and wherever you want it. Or turn on articulation when there's no vocal and turn it off when the vocal's playing. The other thing is, this isn't going to be a mono song, so as you're going through elements, you can decide where you want them to be. So those two guitars are playing two different lines that are similar. So you might want them panned in different directions instead of both down the middle or both on the same side. Alright, so that guitar that was just playing, that's in the verse. So the verse, we already know is going to have the vocal going down the middle. So we might want that guitar on one side, but then also the acoustics come in on the verse also. So we might want the acoustics on the other side from the electric. We might want the acoustics left and right with the electric down the middle. It's all part of this process of figuring out the song. So without the vocal playing, I like the acoustics left and right. Let's see where the verse guitar goes. Okay, verse guitar sounds good down the middle, but let's get a vocal in and see how it sounds with the rest of this.
my broken heart. I know you're scared and reeling, but I am torn apart. Seemed like your world had come undone, just like my broken heart. I know you're scared and reeling, but I am torn apart.
So that's gonna work for me for the verse. Also, right now, I'd like to mention this is not the mix. It sounds decent already, but normally I mix top down, meaning on the stereo out, which is the 2-bus, I would already have my compressor on, at least, and probably also the limiter. But right now what I'm doing is I'm learning the elements of the song, and apparently it's time for ice cream. Great. So anyway, even though Mr. Softy has decided to park on my block, we're gonna keep going. So let's see how this song gets from the verse into the chorus.
Broken heart, I know you're scared and reeling, but I am torn apart. Broken heart, I know you're scared and reeling, but I.
So these four are coming in. Let's see what this is.
Broken heart, I know you're scared and reeling, but I am torn apart. Broken heart, I know you're scared and reeling, but I am torn apart. And reeling, but I am torn apart. And reeling, but I am torn apart. And reeling, but I am torn apart.
So I was balancing clean against something which seems like it was this guitar. These two don't play at the same time during this, so I might have to automate this back to the center for that part.
And reeling, but I am torn apart. And reeling, but I am torn apart.
Also, the synths come in during the chorus, and most likely this vocal here, the ahs, come in during the chorus.
And reeling, but I am torn apart.
So the ahs will probably be that loud, but they're going to be EQ'd, so they won't take up that much of the frequency range.
And reeling, but I am torn apart. And reeling, but I am torn apart. And reeling, but I am torn apart.
So the synths have two different movements. They're going to need different EQ, and the question is going to be whether I want to use them at all and how much of them I want to use, because all of this is really background information. I feel like you have to figure out the background information because the lead vocal is actually going to cut through all of this stuff. So if you put up the lead first, you have to build around the lead, and you can't really necessarily hear what's going on in the background. And depending on what you want the movement of the song to be at that particular time, you may or may not want any of these synths or ahs loud or playing at all.
And reeling, but I am torn apart. Pain, on and on, on and on. All I can say, it's not the same without you here. A falling tear lands on my face.
And then it also might be an automation issue. You might want the ahs to automate in.
And reeling, but I am torn apart. Feel my pain. 2 weeks have passed.
But for now, let's just grab some static levels for these.
And reeling, but I am torn apart. Feel my pain on and on, on and on. All I can say it's not the same without you here. Falling tear lands on my face. Dead and reeling, but I am torn apart. Feel my pain on and on, on and on.
The other thing here is we have a vocal double, which is so close to the original. I'm not sure how it was done. It may have been sung again, it may have been copied. It may just be that every time James sings, it sounds exactly the same. But what happens is when you add it in, you get a different effect that isn't as close up as using just one of them. If you use two of them, it's like as if you're putting him in a room without putting him in the room with reverb or delay.
Dead and reeling, but I am torn apart. Feel my pain on and on, on and on. All I can say it's not the same without you here. Falling tear lands on my face.
You can hear it better if I mute everything else.
Feel my pain on and on, on and on.
So that's like he's right there singing. But then if you add in the double,
Feel my pain on and on, on and on. All I can say it's not the same without you here. A falling tear lands on my face.
so that's another technique before you're even using effects. You're deciding in which parts of the song you want to use the double and you don't. Also, these don't have to be both down the middle. These could be on the sides, especially in the chorus, which would have a different effect.
Feel my pain on and on, on and on. All I can say it's not the same without you here. A falling tear lands on my face. Feel my pain on and on, on and on. All I can say it's not the same without you here. A falling tear lands on my face.
Also, if the vocal's gonna be side to side like that, that clears up the center for this clean guitar, which I might have to move to the center anyway.
Feel my pain on and on, on and on. All I can say it's not the same without you here. A falling tear lands on my face.
Another thing you can do is you can leave the lead vocal down the center, and you can use a spreader on the vocal double.
Feel my pain on and on, on and on. All I can say, it's not the same without you here. A falling tear. Feel my pain on and on, on and on. All I can say, it's not the same without you here. A falling tear runs on my face.
Actually, using the spreader sounds good by itself, so that might be something you automate on, and you only use the lead vocal anyway, but the spreader is on during the chorus and it's not on during the verse.
Feel my pain on and on, on and on. All I can say, it's not the same without you here. A falling tear runs on my face.
So that's pretty much everything other than the solo and the background vocals.
Since you were here, you nailed your final breath. I'm lost and feeling empty.
So that's nice. That might be a good way to break the parts of the song up, is with extra synth here.
2 weeks have passed since you were here. You nailed your final breath. I'm lost and feeling empty. It's been a year. 2 weeks have passed since you were here. You nailed your final breath. I'm lost and feeling empty. It's been a year of death. Feel my pain on and on, on and on. All I can say, it's not the same without you here. A falling tear lands on my face. Feel my pain goes on and on, on and on. All I can say, it's not the same without you here. A falling tear reds on my face, reds on my face. I see memories of you in my son's gleaming face. Your spirit lives on and on and on. Feel my pain on and on, on and on. All I can lands on my face.
So those are the elements. Next up, we decide on a 2-bus compressor. Start with the mix. Bill C, 2020, we out.